We will have a mix of slides giving you some hard facts, and we also have a great part on the live demo to walk you through many different applications. Hans, over to you.
Yes, thanks. Let's start with the agenda. So what is New Planner and what exactly is combined? So you have read about the things that Microsoft wanted to combine Planner, Project, ToDo, and all these things. We've decided to run a webinar in two parts. First part focusing on the task side for work management, and second webinar in an hour focusing on the project manager side, so for Planner Premium. But for now it is Microsoft Planner Basic. So that means this is more or less the old Planner, but in a new shape, and it's called New Planner, and it combines definitely tasks from Microsoft ToDo and others. This is what we're going to look to. And after having a closer look to Microsoft Planner Basic and Microsoft ToDo as an app, we will just have a short look into tasks in Microsoft OneNote, because if you enter task in this application and mark them as Outlook to-dos, you will see them in ToDo and Planner Basic as well. The same if you work with Microsoft Loop. You don't need to mark tasks there in a special way. You just have to use the right table that enables the synchronization in the background automatically. And then we have a look to tasks in Microsoft Lists. Unfortunately, this is not synced, but yes, it's another tool from Microsoft where you can add tasks. So we have decided to have a closer look at this as well. But as you will see, there is no automatic background synchronization as with the other tools. And the latest point, we go into tasks in TPG ProjectPowerPack, because in this application we have not only the possibilities for managing projects, but also handling tasks which are assigned to work packages, and on a very, very low level in project management. But yes, it's very important to work closer together with your team, and the team is here in this application able to work on their own tasks, which can be combined with the work packages and phases, and at the end with the whole project. So this is a good way to work together with these guys. What is New Planner? It's a combination of Microsoft Planner as you know it. But there were not too many people who checked the box that they are working with it, but maybe you know Microsoft Planner. Also you may know Microsoft Project for the web. And these two things are combined to the New Planner. And as you have read, maybe Microsoft ToDo is combined as well. But yes, it's not that the applications were merged into one. This is only for the first two. So Microsoft Planner and Microsoft Project for the web are now the New Planner, but they have also data from Microsoft ToDo. But Microsoft ToDo still exists as an own application, but it is synchronized in the background. So yes, it's a mixture of merging applications and merging data. At the end, it's New Planner, but in two versions. We have one, this is Planner Premium. So you need a premium licensing plan. You have to pay some licenses extra if you want to use the premium templates. This is more or less the old Microsoft Project for the web. And if you go for the basic plan, which is included in several plans from Microsoft, we'll see this in a minute, then you still have the functionality of the Microsoft Planner that you know right now. But at the end, this is one application. So it's really new. So they really have combined the user interface into one with different plans, premium and basic, and the one more for work management and the other more for project management. Okay, just to make it clear, we have two webinars today. So now we look at Planner Basic. This is this webinar with the focus of task management, and in an hour we run the other webinar, which is focused on project management. And good question. Thomas, do you have an idea? How much does Planner cost?
Yeah, depends on what you look at the New Planner. As you just pointed out, it really has two different flavors, which means two different licenses as well. And if you just start from top down, Planner is, as many of you know, part of the Office plans that Microsoft offers, and we can just walk through. So every level of the feature has its price, of course. ToDo is included in Business and Enterprise plans, so many of you just get it kind of for free because you have it anyway. Planner with the basic plans is included in the Enterprise plans, E1, E3, E5, and several on the academic side. So this means the old Microsoft Planner, as some of you may have used them in the past. The Planner with premium plans, as it's called by Microsoft officially, requires a Project Online Plan 1, which, again, German street price is €9.40 per month, and you need to look it up in your country, I guess, and maybe your time zone, and what you need to pay for it. Interesting enough, Copilot in Planner is included. Yeah, it's paid by the Project Online Plan 1. This has changed really a few weeks ago. So initially it was a premium license that required additional licensing, but now it's included and hopefully brings the benefit that many people expected, especially if you're working in a more complex schedule as the premium plans allow it to do. You can look it up, again, on the Microsoft side for your geo and your location, and then make a decision which makes sense for you. But before you do that, let's look into what do you get.
Yeah, what we get is we have the new planner with a list of plans, and we have this list of plans listed in Planner. But this is, that's quite normal. Yeah, we have an application that lists, that manages plans. You get the list of plans. Why not? But don't be confused. As we have Project for the Web merged into the new planner, you will see a list of plans which conclude planner plans and projects for Microsoft Project for the Web. But yes, now it's the name New Planner, so it's all plans, right? So the projects from Project for the Web are now also called plans, and you just get them all in one list. So this is the very first thing. The other thing is you have a list of tasks, and the tasks, you can enter the tasks directly in New Planner. You can get the tasks from ToDo, and you can get tasks coming from Microsoft Office, exactly from Microsoft Outlook, and there you can mark emails as tasks, and therefore these marked emails are listed as tasks in this list in the New Planner as well. And on the other hand, we said that ToDo is combined with the new planner. So let's have a look at ToDo. In ToDo, you see a list of tasks, true. Where does the list come from, or what's the feed for the list? And this is, the tasks that are entered in ToDo itself, no doubt about that. And you get the tasks that are entered in a plan of Planner. And you also get definitely the marked emails from Outlook. And what also you can see is tasks that come from OneNote. And you can see tasks that come from Loop. So a lot of things are at the end combined with ToDo, and as these tasks are being combined in one application of ToDo, this is also synchronized with Planner. So at the end, you see all the tasks in all these applications, right? We mentioned lists when we started. What about lists? Lists is an excellent application that is built on Microsoft SharePoint, and it's around for some years now. But the question was, can I have my to-dos that are stored in lists also synchronized with ToDo and Planner? And the answer is no, not from out of the box, but you can create some jobs for Power Automate. So with Power Automate, you can have a synchronization with ToDo, for example. And at the end, as I said, all the things being in ToDo are then also listed in Planner. So unfortunately, Microsoft did not fulfill the job that they have all their tools which can have to-dos or tasks synchronized in all the other places, or at least these two, like ToDo and Planner. They just left out lists. But it is like it is. Maybe it comes later on, but for now it's not synchronized.
So if this has been confusing in the past, we try to shed some light on it today and explain what the different applications do in task management, so you can make a clear decision on what is the best tool for your purpose. At the end of the day, it will be a mixed bag, I think, of different tools still.
Yeah, and now we focus on these for task management or work management, and the next webinar we focus on the others regarding projects for the web and planner. So let's have a closer look to Planner Basic, where do we? Sorry, one click too fast. Where to find the new planner? Good question, Thomas. When I want to use it, is there an extra app, or how can I start it?
Yeah, there's also a special story from Microsoft. Maybe you've seen it already. It's not yet available in all tenants, so the activation is still in progress. So don't worry if you don't see it right now. But if you want to find it, you have to look in Teams. It's only in Teams where you can use it. There's no dedicated app at the moment. This is on the roadmap, I think, for fall of this year. And you can in Microsoft Teams, select a new app on the left side in your menu where you find all these different apps and applications. You can also right-click to open a new window. At the end of the day, it looks like this one. And once you open it, you should see something like the planner with the icon. And the first 3 bullet points on the right are my day, my task, and my plans. And that's something we're going to look into some detail in the next roughly 30 minutes.
Yeah, so we have 2 slides for Planner, looking at data which is stored in Planner and looking at the views that are available. First of all, Planner still has a flat list of tasks, right? You can't have an outline, so there is no kind of summary task or top task having the children. That's not the case. It's just a flat list of tasks. And well, one task has a name. Clear. And a task is also a start and end, a reminder, a status, what about the progress, a priority, and a recurrence. So maybe there are tasks that should appear every week, every month, or whatever. So just some recurrence, you can enter it on it. But that's it. There are no custom fields, so you have no numbers extra, no texts, no flags, nothing like that. The only thing is labeling and some other things, but you can't have custom fields. So the data model is as it is. It can't be changed by the user. But a task can have a checklist, so that means in a task form, you can see an extra checklist where you can enter small steps of the task. Okay, but this is still a flat list of tasks, right? There is only this extra possibility for adding some real minor steps. A task can be assigned to a bucket. This is just one extra possibility to do a categorization called bucket. Buckets are not defined across plans, right? So if you want to have 10 plans and you talk always about the same buckets, congratulations, you have to render them 10 times for 10 plans. So there is no handover from one plan to the other. And a task can be assigned one or more labels. So just use labels to have another type of category. And also labels are not defined across plans. So if you have entered your 5 different labels, for example, you define if it's something for electrical engineering, something for mechanical engineering, something for IT, something for whatever. And you have to enter these labels in all the plans again. So there are no enterprise labels. And a task can be assigned to one or more persons, definitely yes. And the last thing is you can have comments, and for these different people writing comments, get the comments in their inbox. So if you write a comment on a task, you get a mail about that comment. So that's all about data. You can have assigned documents and hyperlinks. That is nothing new. This is more or less everywhere available, but for the structure of data, that's it. So we keep in mind no custom fields, no structure of the list. So last slide before we look in the live demo, views. You can have a table with filter. So you can have a list of these tasks and can filter them. You can have it in a calendar view with week or months. We will see this. You can have a board with columns by person, bucket, priority, progress, labels, and end date. This is something we will also see. And you can have some charts by number of tasks per person, per bucket, per progress, per priority. So you get an overview. What about the status and all these things in your plan? And last thing is there is a mobile app available. But let's stop talking. Let's start the demo. Thomas, please.
Yeah, let's directly jump into it. So I'm logged into my system right now. I'm in Microsoft Teams. I have the new planner opened here on the left-hand side. And lucky for me, there's nothing to do for me except running a webinar and talking some nonsense about things that work and don't work. So my day, nothing planned in there. My tasks empty as well at the moment. And I don't even have a plan except from the past, but obviously nothing that currently makes any sense for me. So what I would start probably with is create a new plan. And that's exactly what we do. We look into Planner Basic, and this means whenever I go in here, I can create a new plan, which is empty right away, or I can pick from a nice set of templates and then make a decision which one I'm going to use. So let's do a maybe project management plan. I'm going to use the basic one, which will create a Planner Basic plan, the old Microsoft Planner in, let's say, the past. Or you later, we showed this in the second part of the webinar today, the second webinar, I can switch to a premium plan, which then is a good old Microsoft product for the web plan. Let's go for the basic one. That's what we're talking about. I'm going to use the template, and I just call it, as I'm not very creative, webinar, and we take today's date. So we go for May 14th. And we go for Planner Basic. So exactly we know where we're coming from. What's new? The group is an optional thing. I can create this privately for myself now and later share it with all the ones that are part of my plan. This is what I get. Yeah, very much planner, as you can see from the look and feel. You have a number of navigation items up here. You have this grouping by buckets, for example, and you could say, okay, these buckets from the template maybe just make sense. I can change them. I can create new ones on the right. Very much common sense in the, let's say, old Microsoft Planner or new Planner Basic. Again, what you can do, you can group by the different things in here. You can group by progress, due date, and labels that look a little bit into what is essential for an individual task. So once I click on the task itself, I get a nice form in here, and these are the so-called labels. The nice one about the labels is that you can rename them. And you can say blue is everything that has to do with IT, for example. So you can use these 16-something labels, I think it is, different colors. You can relabel them and rename them. But again, this only works in the one plan I'm currently looking at, not in the other ones. I can assign this to myself, and that's definitely what we're going to do. So by assigning it to myself, it will be added to my tasks. By assigning it to myself and setting a due date, for example, as of today, it will not only be a task for myself, it will also show up in my day. So all this planning in the Planner Basic in here is deeply incorporated into my daily work management for myself. For the time being, let's keep it like that. And I have a small checklist down here, and you can see some of the additional fields down there. So this is pretty much what Planner Basic offers me. Let's group it a little differently. Let's say, okay, what has this been assigned to? Only one task so far. Maybe I should work on another one, and I just do drag and drop. So this board or Kanban style way of working works across all the different, let's say, buckets that I'm going to open here. The same goes for the progress. And maybe I did something on the task already. So whatever it takes, I have a number of possibilities to work in the user interface, which is crisp and clear and easy to use. There are predefined filters in here, so you can see pretty much everything I need to do a local work management for one specific basic plan. Let's go to the very last one in here. Priority is something that comes out of the box. And you see based on the template, a few things have been assigned already. So an important task, let's look into this one. Should an important task, yeah, it's assigned to someone, definitely makes sense. And we just look into, okay, based on the on the basic plan I just created in here, what does it change? I have one plan more in here. If I look into the task, oh, makes perfect sense. I get these two tasks that have been assigned to me in here. Let's look into if anything has shown up in my day. Oh, why not? because I did not enter a due date for any of these tasks, but I can always go in here and say, okay, I manually add this to my day and make it show up in something I need to work on today. The small sunlight icon here is exactly what's indicating this one. So this is the task I should definitely focus on today. Again, if a due date is assigned to any of these tasks in the planner plan, then it will automatically show up in my day. So I would probably say that much about what Planner Basic does for the moment, and we continue on some of the...
Thomas, you could have a look with the reports.
Yes. I plan to do this for the last, I think, 7 years. Bad news. Planner data lives in Microsoft Azure in a special database from Microsoft. You cannot connect to this database. There is no reporting capability to directly connect to Planner data. There are third-party tools on the market, as always. But compared to the things we see later today, it does not live in Dataverse, the Power Platform. It lives in Azure, and you cannot connect to this data. That would be nice, actually, Hans, if we could create a nice overview of all the plans from all the people in the organization. No. But don't forget, this is still Planner.
Yes, and what about the built-in reports when you open the plan, seeing how many buckets you have? So this mini reporting.
There are standard charts available, always the same ones, and you cannot change them, which gives you a high-level overview, what's happening in this one single plan here, which is perfectly okay. And if you don't like this whole user interface because it takes too much space here from Teams, don't forget, this is still a planner plan. So you still have the same information available in the good old Planner user interface. And you see it just showed up in here. I can open it directly in here. I can condense it and have a little more space in here, and maybe a few other things that help me to share it with other people and whatever I need to do. So it definitely is a good old Planner plan, which is Planner Basic, finally what we're getting here.
And now we would like to look at ToDo as the next application that synchronizes tasks with Planner. So click to the next slide. Here it is, Microsoft ToDo. So Microsoft ToDo is still an application on its own. So let's have a look at data and view. This is not very much, but just let's look at it. So arbitrary thread lists without structuring the task. So you can have any list of tasks to create. Give it a name, have a list, enter the tasks, and that's it. So we have no plans, we just have lists, right? And the same thing with the planner. There is no possibility to do any structure, no outline, nothing. It's just a flat list at the end. Little difference in the between the app and the web application. So if you open the ToDo app, you can move by drag and drop tasks between lists. For example, you have entered the task in one list, and maybe it was not right. There are other reasons to move it to another list. You can do this in the app, and if you're wondering why you can't do it at the moment, maybe you are currently in the web app, which doesn't work for moving tasks between some lists, some minor issue here, but worth to remember. Tasks can be grouped by category, okay, but not in the app, in web only. So there are at least two mini differences between the app that's running on your desktop and the web version that's running in your browser. So what else can we do? We can share lists with other users, and this is a prerequisite so that you can add users to tasks. A list that's not shared, it's just your list, right? So it's just a private one. So first you would have to share it with others, and then you can assign other people to tasks in detail. So what about the data model at all? The tasks have a name, clear. An end date, recurrence, note, and a reminder. That's it. Tasks can have steps, so the same like in the planner task. So there is one task, and it's not called checklist in this. So Microsoft did not make it the same naming. So the checklist is the detailed list of single items within the task in Planner, but the same thing here in ToDo is just called steps, right? These are small steps, small items that are stored in one task. What's else? You can have files assigned. Yeah, no doubt about that. A task can be assigned to my day, so that happens once you enter today's date. Then this task will be listed in my day, or it is tomorrow, so then it will show up tomorrow in the list of my day. It's just dependent from the date. And a task can be marked as important, so it will show up in the menu point called important. So every task that's marked important is collected over there. So that's it at the end. So you have these possibilities, and as I said, you can assign people to a task once the list is shared with other people. So that's all about the data. Very small data model, very, very easy. So nothing real to learn. So everything that's existing you see in one screen. So there is nothing behind. So views, okay, there's a list in the table. This is more or less no difference. I don't know why they have two. This is just 2 columns extra. There is the My Day list. Then there is the important tasks list. And there is the list for all the tasks that are assigned to me. And the other thing is, or the last thing is the planned list of tasks. This is just the list of all the tasks that have an end date. If you don't have an end date, they don't show up in planned. Yeah, that's it. Except the thing that comes from outside. You can have synchronized mails. Once you mark a mail in your inbox as a task, then it shows up in ToDo and then later on in Planner as well. So it's not entered in ToDo, but it just gets part of the list, but with no extra data, right? So there is no extra field because it's a mail from Outlook. No, it's just the same list. The same columns that are available. And there is also a mobile app available, which does more or less the same than the desktop app. Yeah, talked enough, Thomas?
Let's jump over and get a good understanding on what's happening in here. Again, I don't need to switch the applications. In the end, all comes together in the new planner. The shops are still open, so I definitely need to buy some bread later after the meeting and make sure this is a private task. It automatically ends in there. The due date definitely makes sense for today. Otherwise, I'm going to starve. And just by doing all this, it triggers a few additional things. It automatically adds it to my day because it's due today. So I see it in here, and I now see a mix of tasks from the Planner Basic that we just created, and I see my private task. But for sure, I don't have to use it in New Planner. I can also directly go into Task, ToDoOffice.com. You see it refreshes on the minute when I click onto it, and it shows me the exact same information, more or less, that has been visible in the new planner already. So I see my personal task that I have, let's say, assigned. I see personal task that I just entered in here. So there's a difference between assigned to me and my task. Something has been planned. Why is it planned? Because there's a due date behind it. Is something important? Yes, because identify goals and objectives is something that has been marked as important in the corresponding planner basic plan. So long story short, you see that all this comes together here on different levels. Also my day, it's the exact same data presentation that I see in the new planner here, just distributed a little differently. And as we just said before, if I go into any of these personal tasks in here, I all of a sudden can pick a category. Again, this only works in the web interface. It's 6 colors that I can pick from. But unfortunately, what would you expect if you click on it? That you can relabel it? No, you cannot. It's just a, let's say, color selector that helps you later on to go into your lists and, for example, group by these categories. So long story short, not sure how helpful it really is to do all this. At the end of the day, it's an additional data item that lives in here. So tasks in ToDo are more or less living at the same level as they are in the new planner, which means Microsoft is really converting the data model here. And I think while we are in here, we can directly go to the example on Outlook. Sorry for some German mails in here. It's just sample data. Usually in Microsoft Outlook, you can label task and give them a red flag. So if I do it in here and it's called you have late task in here, again, sorry for some German in that one. And just by flagging this mail that I have in my inbox here, it will be added again into two different areas. It will be added into my task activity, should be there in a second, at least I hope so, should show up in a second or something like that. Let's briefly refresh it and hopefully we see some more. Okay, no, why not? Okay, it should show up in a few seconds anyway. Let's look into Planner. Maybe it has arrived already in here, which is good. So the late task has already early arrived in new Planner, which looks like the integration is a little faster in here. And in a few seconds, it will also show up, I think, in ToDo. So now we have all tasks. I have private task. I have task assigned to me. And I do have flagged emails, which is pretty much everything New Planner covers in terms of task and work management, all in one list, which is handy, which is nice, and also the overview across my own tasks. I think with that being said, or did I forget something, Hans?
I think that's okay. The only thing if you go back to do and click on flagged mail, you will see it.
Here we are. Okay, thanks for the update. If you click on flagged mails, you see flagged mails. Perfectly okay. So maybe the problem was in front of the screen. Okay, let's go on and look into some of the maybe more exciting things that we can look into.
The next thing is that we can also work with OneNote. The data in OneNote, that's just one slide. And this is very easy. Tasks in OneNote can be synced with ToDo via Outlook. So it is at the end Outlook task that has to be created off of every sentence you write. So there is a special feature. This is the only thing you have to do. You just select some text or put the cursor on it, select create an Outlook task out of this. And in the background, it's a sync to ToDo and sync to Planner. And there is only a little issue. The issue is that once it is synchronized, the completion is synchronized in both directions. That's good. So if you say it's ready, so there is no in progress, it's just it's done or not. But if you change the name in one or the other place, it's not synchronized at all. So it's easy to have two different names for the same thing, which are still synchronized in the background, but you can't identify them because maybe you have changed the name on one place and not on the other. It's not done automatically. Yeah, okay, that's it. But all for the guys in the audience using OneNote, it's a nice feature. So yeah, Thomas, I think that's a 1 minute demo.
No, I think we just jump it.
Some words.
I don't know. Looking at the time.
Okay. Yeah, but
we jump it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. just go on. This is really the last or the second to last is that we have tasks in Microsoft Loop. This is a very small thing as well. I don't know if you are aware about Loop. Loop is a new application that follows the fluid components idea of Microsoft. So what here you can see is that you have a chat where a table is in, and the same table is in the Loop app, or could also be in Outlook. So you can have an Outlook mail, an Outlook appointment, or even in Word. So you can have one table, and this table, once it is a table from the type task list, and this is the only type that is synchronized in the background, you can enter in all these places any tasks you want to have, and they are synchronized in all the places where you can see the component, and they are synchronized with ToDo and with Planner. I think this is something you can maybe you could do this little demo, because I think this is really, really nice. But just open a new mail, for example, and put the task list in. So you don't need to send the mail. The component is created in the background automatically.
Okay, let's do it real quick and pretend we would send it. Okay, use this address. Here we are. Again, I don't really have to send it, which is really crazy because now you can go in here and say, okay, I would like to insert something. And here you find the loop components, I think, which is 8 or something like that, that you can pick from, but it needs to be a task list. Yeah, only this one goes back into the to-do list finally that the user receives. It's just being added in here. So there's a new task list being added in here, and the task name here would be, oops, let's be precise, prepare the slides, and I would send this to Johan and says, okay, you are the one taking care of all that. Okay, why doesn't it like it? Okay, let's pick anyone, it doesn't matter. I pick myself, maybe that's easier for the time being and goes a little faster. I could select the date for it. It should definitely be done by today. So the nice thing about this loop component here is something like a small piece of software that lives kind of on its own. Yeah, on its own means it's going to show up in, let's say, Microsoft Loop itself. I can go in here. I see the exact same information that has been shown before. I can copy it. And for example, I could also go in here and I'm allowing this one. Okay, it has been copied for now. What can I do with it? For example, I can go in here. I can create a new Word document that I send out maybe to meeting notes to external participants that do not have access to our teams. I say, okay, let's go into a blank document. We add some whatever headers and nice pictures and things like that. And then we are going to paste it. And it has the exact same design. It has the exact same functionality. And it just lives now in an Office document. And maybe the next one is run the demo. And in this case, I'm going to add it to, I'll try it again. Maybe I can pick here right now. No, okay, it clearly doesn't want me to anyone else than myself, so I need to do everything on my own, yeah, which feels like a pattern. Okay, whatever it does. Finally, this goes into data that lives in this component in here. Let's pick another date in here and say, okay, maybe this is due tomorrow. Whatever it takes. So this information I just worked on in Microsoft Word is already updated in the loop component and already updated in the mail itself. So this is the nice piece about it. And because I assigned myself as a due date as of today, what would you expect? Yes, it needs to show up in here as well. So it should be something assigned to me. Synchronization should be there in a second. Otherwise, let me just update it real quick. I'm always not patient enough to wait for it to happen on the background. So let's briefly force it with an update in here. And if everything goes in here right away, I should now see the loop component. Okay, a little slow this day, maybe on a Tuesday afternoon, it doesn't work that nicely, but it will show up in a second, at least when I go into the next piece of demo for today. So loop is another task management functionality that finally ends up in individual tasks assigned to people that can be used in the task overview in the planner.
So tasks in Microsoft List. Well, but this will be a short one because, as I said in the intro, it's not synchronized at all. So tasks in Microsoft List, it's still worth to look at it, right? Because it's a list of tasks in SharePoint with all the possibilities SharePoint offers, and this means you can have all the security stuff. You can have item level security. You can have as many custom fields as you want to have. You can have also a board view. So this is something that is new since a while, but it is currently not synchronized with ToDo or Planner. So please, if you want to have a flexible, full-blown functionality regarding your tasks and you're familiar with SharePoint, then go for lists. Look for a new view and create your board view, and be happy if you can stay without the synchronization with others, or go to Power Automate and do your own synchronization with ToDo or Planner or others, or what customers do for a long while, combining SharePoint with Microsoft Project Online or whatever, with TPG PS Link, which is a product of TPG, to build bigger things, maybe not for your personal use, but for enterprise use cases. short look at this, Thomas. Maybe just open. I think not all of you will have seen the board view, I guess, and that's worth looking into it.
Yeah, so this, interesting enough, as you pointed out, is SharePoint data, but it's an application on its own that you also find usually in your start block up there. So let's go for a new list in here. Let's say, okay, what would I like to do? I always need an issue tracker. We always have issues. So an issue tracker is definitely something that makes sense for me. I'm going to use this template. I call it issue tracker 2024. 0514, and we just call it lists, which is nice. Okay, whatever it takes. I don't take care of all the bells and whistles in here. So it's being created on the fly with a number of standards, let's say, columns. You see it SharePoint pure. You can add additional columns in here. And the nice thing now is that you can just go in here and say, okay, I would like to create a new view. Yeah, and maybe we just say, okay, let's create a Kanban view in here. So Kanban is definitely something that comes out of the box. You see there's a board presentation of the data. You can do this by status. This was part of my template. Make it a public view, and here we go. And I have a nice and adjustable and extendable Kanban view of everything I need in my issue tracker, for example. So very powerful, very nice indeed, reportable. Yeah, it's SharePoint data that you can easily access from Power BI and everything else. So long story short, yes, lists is one additional piece that is available for task management, with the only downside, it's not synchronized into Planner.
Yeah, so we are almost at the end. I hope we have 2 extra minutes. The last thing that we would like to show you is that if you are looking not only for some tasks, but if you look for tasks being connected to work packages and the project, not just small plans and lists, we have built something that's called TPG ProjectPowerPack that runs on the Power Platform, and that uses, for example, Planner Premium, what we see in the next webinar. But what we would like to show you here is that we have also a list of tasks which can be combined with the tasks in our plan, and so we have a better possibility that your team members can work together with the project manager. So if you want to step one step higher in terms of work management and task management, you can have tasks combined with your Gantt chart, for example. And this is something what we do in TPG PPP called Project PowerPack.
Yeah, the very basic idea is that we have projects that can be grouped into portfolios and programs, which is not part of the story for today. Every project can have a number of detailed information that lives in the project itself. There is a schedule, financials, resource plan, any other information that you may need. But finally, the team members usually that work in my projects have action items in here. And these action items are now small task pieces that they can use to organize themselves. They can assign it to themselves or to each other. So an action item like this one, let's pick one here and look into it, what's happening in there. So someone needs to create a documentation, it looks like, that has been assigned to someone. There's some additional data and a checklist down there. Why do we point it out so explicitly? Because this is where the team members can work independently from the schedule. They can connect these action items to pieces from the schedule, work packages, milestones, or all the tasks in there, which drives the due dates. And last but not least, everyone can look into their personal action items across all the different projects directly here in the user interface. So I can look at all the action items that are part of the system. I can look at my own action items, for example, and look at them in here driven by different projects, and so on and so on. So task, action items in combination with projects and the portfolio is something that we propose as another solution. We would be happy to use Planner and we would be happy to use ToDo if they would offer the possibility to add at least one additional data field, which unfortunately is not the case today. So, long story short, this is where we end up with, let's say, the presentation of today. Let me pick the right one. And I think, Hans, that's where we are, right, for today?
Yes, that's it. So hopefully you have seen the possibilities that Microsoft offers, and you can pick one for you. There are also possibilities to play around and try all these features on your end. But it has some limitations, and this is what we wanted to show you. So there is still not the one and only which covers all the things. So it's worth to sit back and think what you really need.